What's up guys, Guaranteed here, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to aim perfectly in Frontlines. So the first thing we're going to talk about is sensitivity, mouse sensitivity that is. Sensitivity is super important in this game, mainly because in this game I have to have a higher sensitivity than I do in like CSGO. Because this game is very fast paced and I have to do a lot of 180s, 90s, whatever. I have to do a serious amount of flicking in this game because of how fast paced it is and how close range it is. So my sensitivity, in case you're wondering, is 0.26 on Roblox, and my mouse DPI is 1300. This is relatively medium sensitivity, I'd say. Normally I'd run much lower on a game like CSGO, as I said. But ultimately, your sensitivity is really just up to what feels comfortable to you. If you're more comfortable with the lower sensitivity or you're more comfortable with the higher sensitivity, that's much more important than, using a sensitivity I use. But as a general general idea, you probably want to be able to do at least a 360 on your mouse pad. On my sensitivity, I can do a full 360 either left or to the right without running off my mouse pad. You don't have to have that high sensitivity. You could run a little lower if you want, especially if you use your arm instead of your wrist. But yeah, sensitivity is definitely all up to you, all up to what feels comfortable to you. Just be wary that in this game you have to do a lot of flicking and such. Alright, now we're going to talk about recoil. So recoil in this game is really simple. It's quite literally just a straight line up, as you can see. So all you have to do to counteract that is pull down. Now, in this game, you're going to have some guns with hardly any recoil and some guns with a lot of recoil. In the demo, you basically just get a random gun, so you can't really do anything about that, so you're going to have to adapt to whichever gun you're using. But once you have customization, you'll definitely be able to, make it way more muscle memory instead of just, RNG, like guessing how much recoil your gun's going to have. Also, when you're pulling down, if you're like switching targets, if you're like, spray transferring, you have to remember to pull down during the spray transfer. So if I want to shoot here, I have to keep pulling down while I go to the right. So my mouse basically goes down and to the right in order to stay flat. It's common sense for most people, but some people don't think about it to keep pulling down whenever they switch to a different target. Alright, so next thing we're going to talk about is crosshair placement. Crosshair placement is really important because it's going to basically be the difference between life or death, like who kills each other faster, because headshots are definitely what you're looking for. So you want to aim, pretty much your crosshair wants to be staying right where the head is at all times. And that can be a little hard on a map like Canyon here, where there's a lot of like ups and downs, so you're going to have to like adjust for it. So my alt is over there, so obviously if I'm coming around the corner, I clear this, and I'm going to be peeking up here. I want to have my crosshair up here when I'm running around the corner, right? I want my crosshair to kind of be where their head is. Because if I were to run around the corner and just keep my crosshair still like this, then I have to come all the way up here to shoot the opponent. But if I'm coming around this corner and I just keep it on the head, then my crosshair is right where it needs to be. And that's the basics of crosshair placement. You always want it to be like right where their head is. Whenever you're running around like a flat plane, you're probably going to keep it like right about here, like if we're looking at a wall. Probably just keep it right about here whenever you're running on a flat plane. If I'm running up here, I'm obviously going to aim a little higher. And also when you're running like down a hill, you probably want to aim a little lower. That's just has to do with, practice and just getting a feel for the map. Knowing the map is most important when it comes to crosshair placement. A map like Port is pretty much like all level, so you don't have to worry about it that much. That pretty much on Port, you just keep your crosshair like the exact same the whole way. But on a map like Canyons, whenever you're running around corners and stuff, you definitely need to account for them being higher than you or lower than you for sure. One thing I want to mention that's really important in this game in aiming is actually like where your bullets are going. So in this game, only your first shot really goes where your crosshair is. As you can see, my spray is actually going like right under where my crosshair is. So whenever you're spraying someone down, I would highly recommend you kind of aim towards the top of their head if you want to get a headshot, because if you're aiming like at their like face or like neck level, it's probably going to actually register as a body hit. So it's really important when you're spraying somebody to actually aim towards the top of their head, top of their helmet. You can probably even get away with aiming right above their head in order to actually get it to register as a headshot. So the next thing we're going to talk about is target recognition / being able to actually see your target while you're shooting at them. So basically what I mean by this is in this game there's a lot of shadows and a lot of like fogginess, stuff that basically makes it hard for you to see your opponent, especially with the muzzle flash and everything. So the way I get around that is I actually aim right under their like enemy indicator or their health bar. Um, I mean, it's pretty reliable because they're always going to be like the same distance on their indicator or whatever. So if I can't see them, like if they're behind a bush or if they're in a shadow or anything, I basically just kind of look at their enemy indicator and I just kind of aim below it and I shoot below it. Um, this is probably the best way to get around it until shaders actually come in. Or not shaders, but I think eventually you will be able to actually change like colors and stuff to make people easier to see. But for now, this is the best way to get around that for sure. Now we're going to talk about pre-firing. So pre-firing is basically anticipating somebody's going to be there and shooting like right before you actually see them, or you're like ready to shoot them the second they come around the corner. Your reaction timing is very heightened. So basically the way that I pre-fire, there's three different ways, three main ways that I pre-fire. Either number one, I'll see them on the mini-map, and I basically see where they are, so I can just pre-fire them pretty easily. Or number two, I can actually, hear their gun shooting around a corner, or hear the gun shooting, across an alley or something, I don't know. So basically you can hear them coming, and you pre-fire them. Same thing like footsteps, you can also hear them coming with footsteps, and you can pre-fire them if you're good enough at listening to them. And number three is when you actually see them like go through one entryway and you have like a visual on the on where they're headed. So like if they go through like one doorway, you can like kind of aim towards like where they're going to come out and pre-fire where they're coming out. But those are the three main ways to pre-fire. And pre-firing is very important to do because obviously you're starting to shoot somebody a lot sooner. Like they can't even see you, you're already shooting at them. And it's pretty critical to pre-fire if you want to really get your aim up to the next level and get your performance up to the next level. So lastly and most importantly, you have to practice. Practice is super important, especially with aiming. Aiming, some of it is natural. Sometimes you can naturally be pretty good at aiming, but for the most part, if you really want to get super good, you have to do a lot of practice. Now, that doesn't mean you just have to play Frontlines. You can play other shooter games. They're all pretty interchangeable. Just make sure your your sensitivity is pretty similar between the games. Like I said earlier, I do have faster sensitivity in Frontlines though, because it's pretty fast paced. Or you can do things like aim trainers. There's plenty of aim trainers online. There's plenty of aim trainer like games to do. There's plenty of resources for you to actually improve your aim. Like Valorant has its own little like aim trainer thing. Aim training really does help. Like if you just put in like I don't know 15. 30 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes of aim trainer every day, I think you'll start to notice some serious improvements. And aim trainers also can help you, get a feel for like what sensitivity, what DPI you prefer. Obviously, if you're using something like an office mouse, you can't really change your DPI. I mean, you can change your Windows like mouse sensitivity. It's not really the same thing. I would recommend getting a gaming mouse for sure. There's plenty of cheap gaming mouse out there. There's plenty of mice that are like, 20, 30 bucks that you can get. Mine was only like $50, which is, that's not too bad. It can be a little expensive for some people though. But yeah, you definitely need to practice for sure. If you want to get to the level your boy Gunner is, I probably put in like a good, I don't know, I have like 2,000 hours in CSGO. And I have, probably thousands of hours of just other shooters, other like Roblox shooters and such, all like added up. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. If you guys have any more questions about aiming or, game sense, anything about Frontlines, please let me know down in the comment section below. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will definitely be making more Frontlines content. Probably not too much in the coming week or so, because they did say it's probably going to take them a little while to get the customization out. But I will still be playing here and there for sure. I talk in the Discord a lot. I'm pretty annoying, so if you ever want to have a chat with me in the Discord, there's a good chance you'll see me in the Frontlines Discord. But yeah, I'll see you guys later, and I really appreciate you watching. Peace out.